and welcome to September's bullet journal. This month I've got a bit of a Mediterranean feel for you, so we're working with this kind of blue colour palette, and I actually really planned to go away but we didn't get to go anywhere nice. So what I've done is I brought it out in my journal. So I've got this kind of Mediterranean tile feel to September, just drawing out that summer love. And let me show you the template that we're going to be working from. So as usual, we have our cover page with your blank, and then I've also given you just the tiles because I will tell you more about this, a little bit of a cheat way that you can quickly create this spread. Oh, there's another tile. Then we've got a blown up version in just paler blues for our week to view, and then just a simple tile each day if you want a little bit of mindful colouring in for your days of the week. And then our habit tracker, again with the lovely tiles, and our mood tracker this month is a black and white tile for you to fill out as appropriate for your moods. So let's get started, shall we? My trusty sketch journal. Let's get to the next blank page. So what we're going to be looking at today is creating a set of squares. So ideally what you want to be using is, if you're using a gridded notebook or a dotted notebook, that's going to really help you because you can then just use the dotted lines to create your square tile. If not, then don't worry, you can use a ruler. So we could just use a ruler to create our square, like so. And now you're working on your design. So your design can be pretty much anything you want it to be, but it does need to mirror on all four corners. So whatever you do in one corner has to fill up the other side. So let's start by maybe just doing like a teardrop shape in each corner, like so. And then what we can do is pull off from that and make a kind of fleur, they call fleur-de-lis kind of design. Again, mirroring it in each corner. And then maybe in the center we can put a circle like that. And now we can build out from the center. So let's just keep it simple and we'll do a floral, and I'm going to mirror it down there. Let's do one here, and again mirror it over there, and another one here, and up here. You get the gist. Then we could maybe put some little dots in. Again, remember, mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. So there we're building up our tile, and you can make it as intricate or as detailed as you wish. Now what I would say is, when I started doing this and doing them really large, it was easy, and then all of a sudden when I was working actually in my planner, in my journal on a small scale, it was really difficult to make those smaller. So I would be aware of kind of how delicate you're doing, because you're going to have to create this on a much smaller level in your page. So that's all we're going to do, and then you can see how you just continue to build that. So say these lines like continue each side, and we're filling our whole page with a grid, then you would start, give it a little bit of a break, but your next tile would kind of fill this space up here, and then maybe you would start doing your design here, and then that would be your next tile up here, and the same, you know, down here. Maybe this one has a dotted border. And maybe this one has dotted lines. You can just make it up, or you can follow the templates that I've given. But that is how we build up our page. And you can mix your different blue pens. So I am using blue Tombow 526. That's because this comes in this month's Clarity box. You might have seen there's a gorgeous blue pencil case, because that also is in this month's Clarity box. And as I am filming this, I do have some available. Obviously that will be just for Patreon, because if you're watching this on YouTube, we are a year behind. All of our Patreon members get to see our most recent videos, and YouTube gets basically a year behind, but you get to see them on YouTube for free. Our Patreon subscription to have the video tutorials where you get all of the worksheets included, that is £8 per month. That's called our creative tier. So you can kind of join us on Patreon, and you can also cancel any time. So if you're interested, you can head over to Patreon and purchase just the template for £5 if you're seeing this on YouTube. So like I said, for our Patreon members, you get everything included, as well as our daily journal prompts. Let's not forget that. Right, so shall we progress to our template? Let's get to a clean page. And as always, I like to trace through, but actually on this occasion, I think it's going to be easier to draw our lines in. Okay, so the grid on my page is going to roughly be around 3 centimeters. So that's what I'm aiming for, is like a 3 centimeter square, and then leaving maybe 0.5 between, maybe a couple of mils between each grid line. So I'm just building that really lightly. I don't know if you can see on my page, but I'm just gridding the page really lightly, because we will rub these lines out later. These are just a guideline to get our tiles in the right kind of formation. So let me just do 3 cm. I slightly go a little bit off page there. So I have been following the dotted grid in our bullet journals to give me an idea of where the lines should be, but it makes it a lot easier. I do love the grid because it gives you, the dotted grid gives you a really good guideline without it kind of ruining your design, so it still looks like a blank page. That's why, but I do also love gridded paper, writing on gridded paper. I don't know, there's just something about being able to get your letter spacing. For us A-type people, that is just lovely. Right, okay, so there we go. There we are. I've sectioned my page into tiles. Now, I'm not going to fill every single one of these tiles. It's up to you how many you want to fill in. I've given an idea on my cover page on where I'd want to go, and I'm going to go in with let's zoom in a bit. Oh, other way. Going to go in with my small nib on the Tombow pen. Now, you also might want to go with something a bit smaller, because I did really struggle putting this together this size yesterday. Let's see if I do any better today. I might do. I'm in a better frame of mind, let me tell you. I had a migraine yesterday, and I've had a couple of days off work, which is why this tutorial is a little bit late going out to our Patreon members. I wanted to have it done by last Friday. It's currently Thursday, so I'm nearly a week behind where I wanted to be, but that's okay. We've got it done. and it's before September, but I am ready to get focused for September. Just having a couple of days off, lovely as it is, it just makes it so much harder to get back into the swing of things. It really does. And it doesn't obviously help when you have a migraine. So it was very tricky yesterday, and I got really angry at my laptop because it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And I also got really angry at the internet because it didn't do what I wanted to do either. So all in all, yesterday was a bit of a rubbish day. So I thought, you know what, I was going to video this yesterday, and I thought, you know what, we're not in a great frame of mind. Let's do it tomorrow. One more day isn't going to make that much of a difference. And I do have to tell myself that, because sometimes it does feel like it makes a really big difference. Because I'm very much like, you know, I love a to-do list. I love to tick it off, and it really annoys me when I've decided I'm going to do something, I can't tick it off my list. So it was a bit of a learning curve for me yesterday to just not be as strict with myself, I think, was what I learned yesterday. So I'm just filling in these swirly shapes, and like I said, it is really difficult to do this on a smaller level. So you might want to use, you could use a ballpoint pen, you know, if you had like a blue biro, you might have got a bit more control over the pen, I feel, because it's a lot smaller than you think. It really is. I mean, of course, you don't have to do your tiled squares as small as this. You could do yours enlarged. You can do it as big or as small as you want. It is totally up to you. I am just giving you the guidelines and giving you the kind of information on how you can do it. So totally feel free to do whichever way is going to make it more enjoyable for you. Don't stress your out. We're not here to stress ourselves out. We're here to have a little bit of mindful colouring in and just a little chin wag, a little catch up. So we in the UK are rolling towards very, very closely back to school. So my kids go back next week, probably towards the end of next week, which ideally I would like them to go a bit earlier, but never mind. They broke up quite late for the summer holidays, therefore they're kind of going back a bit later as well. I'm going to kind of intersperse, I'm going to leave some gaps, and I'll come back and I'll tell you why we're leaving the gaps, because I am going to make life a little bit easier for myself, because we have got enough going on. I'm going to show you a little cheat, which is good, isn't it? I don't normally do little cheats, but you could always, like, I will always say this is actually with any of my worksheets, you could 100% cheat on all of them. It is not cheating, it's just sensible. You could print them out and you could just cut anything out and stick it in, because that is what we're going to do. We're going to cut and paste, because I don't know why I've just realised I've swapped to the brush side of the pen, which is a lot harder to control. Let's go back. Yeah, so we'll do this one here, and then we'll move on to my little cheat, and then I'll probably speed up the camera because we know what we're doing at this point. We know it's going to be filled out. We'll be filling all of these gaps and making it look like a beautiful tiled mosaic. I've got today off work. Obviously I'm doing this work, but I'm not working at my part-time job, which is working at a spa, which is a calming, it's quite a calming environment, to be honest with you. Sometimes the people there can get a little bit stressed at you, even though they're in a spa, but majority of the people are really happy to be enjoying their spa day. So I'm not working there today or tomorrow because we took this holiday, and ideally we were going to be going to Turkey, I think was the plan originally, or Spain. Like I say, somewhere Mediterranean, which is why I feel a bit inspired to do this like Mediterranean tiled design. But my husband got a new job, and then he wasn't able to take holiday, so we decided we would staycation. So I've been up north for the long weekend to visit family and my sister, and it was my nephew's birthday party, so that tied in really, really well. And we had a lovely relaxing couple of days, and I drove back just the other day, and we're back here. So that's it. That was my little mini break. And even though it was just a long weekend, it really did feel like a break, and I'm really struggling to get back into the swing of things now. Okay, so let's zoom out and see where we're at. As you can see, it's filling in slowly because these are small squares. I've told you, it's difficult to do it small. So what I kind of decided yesterday was I printed that spare sheet that I've added in for you. Let me get it out. So this is the spare sheet, and I've printed it out on paper here, and then this is on sticker paper, which is more photographic paper, so it has come out a little bit darker, which is fine. I kind of like the different colours. The beauty of the sticker paper, obviously, is as soon as we have cut out, now this one is rather delicate, so I definitely don't want to be drawing that. I gave it a go yesterday, and I got very stressed out, so let's just make life easy on ourselves, and let's cut out a little tiled square, and let's stick it on. Is it cheating? Maybe it is. Do I care? Maybe I don't, because we've got a lot to get through this week, and if I can save myself some time, why not? And it looks super pretty. So that's what we've done with the sticker paper. Obviously, you can do that just as well with ordinary paper if you have got a coloured printer. If not, you could do these in, why not do them in black and white? And you could have some grey tiles mixed in with your blues. You can do some pen, make it a bit more tactile. I like that idea. Okay, I'm going to put that one there. Where's my glue? Good old Pritt stick. Can't go wrong, can you? So that is the option of doing it with paper, or the option of doing it with stickers, or of course you've got the option to hand draw. You could use all of the above, or you could just draw them in yourself, or it's totally up to you. I love this idea of mixing and matching. Why not? Let's continue, but I think this time I'm going to speed up the camera. Okay, just as a little let's try it out. I didn't try yesterday. I didn't try a biro, and I'm wondering if that's going to help me get the kind of size that I need, or like the detail that I need. So let's give it a go. I'm going to do it on this one, so definitely can control it better with the nib. So if you had any gel pens, I think this would be a really good one for gel pens actually, because you're going to have the nib. Well, of course, if you've got coloured pencils, you've got more control with the coloured pencils. I don't know how this is looking on camera, but it's looking very sketchy. I don't hate it. It's obviously not as kind of saturated as using the Tombow, but definitely I've got more control over the nib and can do the smaller details. So that is, and I don't know, actually this blue is actually quite a kind of Mediterranean blue colour actually, looking at it on this paper. So it's quite a doodly look. You know how much I love the doodle effect, so I kind of like it, guys. I kind of like it. So yeah, there's another idea. You could just use a plain old blue biro and just make it your own little Mediterranean delight. Don't forget that whatever you do on this side, we're going to mirror over here, so I need to go over like that, and then I mean, it is mindful colouring in, I will say that. And it's just time for me. I always forget that this is perfect. We've been talking a lot because our August theme for journaling has been self-care, and we were talking about ways that we could create moments of self-care, and journaling definitely is my little kind of 10 minutes a day for me. But this kind of mindful colouring in and doing those little doodles per journal page, if you're doing the dailies, then that gives you this little bit of quiet time. And it's like your hand and your brain are working at the same time. You literally don't have any space for anything else. So my brain can't worry about what is happening next because it just doesn't have the time. Okay, that worked out okay, I feel. Kind of like it. It looks a little bit kind of vintagey with the blue. So there we go. You could use a standard blue biro. We don't need any fancy things. Let's move on. So I will speed it up. So that's as many as I'm gonna fill out. I'm gonna just use my little cheat method for the other bits and pieces, and that's okay. I am okay with that. So let's just, I'm gonna use the stickers because they're pre-sticky and I don't need to get the glue out, but unless I need a paler colour, in which I'll use the printed paper ones because it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so that one's going to go there. Let's have a little look. What else do I need? I want to go for something. I might actually use the paper because I want to go for something that's a little bit more dull, just to give it. Let's go for oh, this one's pretty because this one's got a few different tones in, so I'm going to go for this one. Also, it's easier to get to. So these are just printed out on normal printer paper, nothing fancy. And I kind of like that it's got a bit of a faded, because the basic printer paper doesn't really take the colour well, but I kind of like that it's got a bit of a faded look to it. Let's put that on there. Good old Pritt stick, always needed. Right, okay, and I think that will do, because actually I'm going to write September in there and my month stamp is going to go down there. So let's get that bit done. Where's my black Tombow? Trusty black Tombow. I honestly couldn't do my journal without Tombow pens. I'm so reliant on them. I just love the I love both of the pen nibs for starters, and I love the colours. They're just, they do, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the colours are really deceptive, because sometimes you've got a lid colour. Let me see. The lid colours on the Tombow are quite deceptive, so always find like a colour chart. I am going to be selling the Tombows actually, just the ones that I use, not all of them. Sorry, I've just found this and I've decided it was just lying around and decided I wanted to add it in. I think it's that one, and it looks a bit better than my squiggly drawing, so let's cover that one. Yeah, so I'm going to be selling the Tombows that I use more regularly, my favourite kind of colours, in the shop. So keep an eye out on shop, and all Patreon members get discount in the shop. So if you don't know what your discount code is, let me know. Different tiers have got different discounts, so let me know if you want your code. Drop me a message and I will get that to you. Okay, so we are happy with our September layout, and I'm going to go in. You can use the template and draw your month to view in there. As always, I'm using my stamper, which comes with every single option you could possibly need for the month. You've also got the option of a Sunday start or a Monday start. I prefer a Monday start. I know our American friends do prefer a Sunday start, but there we go. I'm going to pop that in there. That's available in the shop. You get everything you need: the stamper, the ink pad, and the acrylic base. Just a little note whilst we're talking about our American friends, if there is anybody from the States purchasing this in the shop, I am going to have to halt American shipping at the moment until we work out what's going on with the tariffs. You might have seen a lot of this with your other fellow UK suppliers, but there's going to be quite a big tariff that's going to be added onto American shipping. So until everybody knows what that tariff is going to be, I'm going to put a halt on American shipping. If you've got any questions, drop me a note and I can certainly give you a quote, and let's work it out from there. So here we go. September is all ready for you. It's a bit of a mix mash, and it's not something I would normally do where we use the separate printouts, but I think it works really well mixing it in with some hand-drawn tiles. So give it a go, and as always, I love to see what you create. Tag me in any of your creations and I'll see you next time.